beach day, sandy, sunny, beach day, beach day, beach day, lay the cards out, score. Beach Day is a game that will be getting crowdfunded. There will be a link down below. It is also a game that I've solo played. I'll put a link up above. It's a game all about grabbing beach cards, laying out all of your beach, and trying to score based on the various objectives, including one private one. After the break, I will show you how that all plays, and after that, I'm going to give you my thoughts on who I think might like to back this one. Here we are, briefly going to go over Beach Day. I will say this is a prototype game, prototype copy. Check the link down below for the campaign to see its present state, the campaign, and all of that information. So you are going to start by placing 5 scoring cards on the table, one of each type. You have your turtles, your beach balls, your sand dollars and your trash, your sand castles, and your shell. These are each double-sided. So for the first game, they suggest starting with your A. And then for the beach balls and the sand castles, there are a card extra for each one. Choose them how you wish. Each player then is going to get a random turtle card from the ones that are available. Each player is going to get dealt 2 crab cards, and then they're going to choose one to keep. This is your private scoring. So we'll say we're going to keep this one right there. The rest go back to the box with the remaining score cards and turtle cards. You then are going to create the sand card deck. It is going to be based on the number of players. In a 5-player game, you're going to use all 62 cards. You're then going to remove 10 cards per player less than 5. So 52 for 4, 42 for 3 players, and a deck of 32 cards for 2 players. Once it's decked, you're going to draw the top 2. Once the deck is complete, you're going to draw the top 2 cards, place them in the 2 different face-up piles. In front of the other players, these are the discard piles. Then the player that has traveled to a beach most recently goes first, or choose your first player however you so choose. The game is played over a series of turns and ends when the sand deck, this one, runs out. So on your turn, you're going to do one of 2 things. You're either going to draw 2 cards from the top of the sand deck, keeping one and discarding either discard pile you want, or taking one of the cards from the discard pile. If that empties one of these out, you are then going to just draw the top card and place it in the discard pile. When you take a card and attach it to your beach, in essence your tableau, there are certain rules you are going to need to follow. Your new card must be attached to your beach by at least one section. So this would count as attached. This would count as attached. This would as well. This would not, nor would only half covering it. You do want to make sure to keep it in the grid pattern that is depicted on the cards. You may rotate the card in any orientation. You can overlap as many cards as you wish, line up the 4 sections of the cards, as I had shown you. You may not overlap sections with the turtle, so I can't cover him up, and I may not tuck a card underneath something. Once you have grabbed a card and added it to your tableau, the next player would go, again, either choosing one of the discard or grabbing 2 cards, keeping one, and discarding the other. And you're going to go until the deck runs out. If there is only 1 card remaining on the deck for that last turn, the player's just going to simply flip that over and then choose from the 3 available cards, and then triggering the end of the game. Once the end game is triggered, you are going to add up stars, basically starfish, which are points. I'm not going to go over each scoring card. They will be covered in the rule book, but you will go through each scorecard, scoring points for that. You are then going to score points for your crab objective, and it'll say what it is. In this instance, if you have the most stars from your turtle, then I'm going to gain 8 stars at the end of the game. So based on the turtle scoring, if I have scored the most on that, then I would be scoring more points. They do have a variety of objectives on the crab cards. So that is the basics of how to play Beach Day. Let's move into my thoughts. So there is the basics of how to play Beach Day. So one of the things that we really enjoy with this one is there are plenty of card laying kind of tableau grid building games out there, but most of them require you to cover up things and to maneuver things a certain way. Whereas Beach Day is a little bit more easygoing with that. You obviously still can't do the diagonal one because you want to build up that grid in that tableau, but you don't have to cover up one of the squares. You can place them next to each other, especially in relation to the beach balls. You're going to want to. And that's another thing, is having those like half tiles to create the beach ball, as that whole other dimension of not just having to worry about your 4x4 grid, but also, all right, well, I need to leave something next to this beach ball and have that not interfere with stuff. And then the fact that there are so many scoring options. There's going to be 5 different things you're scoring for, and then your private objective. So it is one that isn't going to just make everyone have to go in one specific way. Like, not everyone has to go and score the shells, or everyone doesn't have to focus on how their turtle scores. Certain people can focus on a few of them, that certain people can focus on the other. So you guys aren't always going to be fighting each other for those same cards. It may end up you all go for the same ones, but it's not going to be mandatory because of all the variety. So it does kind of open up the strategies for all the players more, especially, like I said, with that little private objective one of them might be have the least amount of trash. So you are going to maybe not focus on that trash and sand dollar card as much, because you're going to focus on not grabbing any trash cards and just focus on these other things. So just being able to have those varying levels of strategy that basically do kind of get dictated by that private objective, but you can choose other different scoring options. Another thing, even though it's a prototype, the art itself, really beautiful. It really does convey and give you that really nice beach theme. It doesn't feel abstracted. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel out of place. It does fit very thematically with how you do everything. The sandcastle is going to be bigger than everything else, so it does take up the 2 spots. So just the card layout, and like I said, the pictures and all that is very lively and brightens everything up and makes it easy to decipher things. I will say, though, the sand dollars did seem a little small at times, so maybe those might have been able to be made a little bit bigger, but that is honestly a nitpick, because sand dollars normally aren't that big. So they did do a good job, like I said, of kind of maintaining that aspect ratio in essence. In addition to all that, is a game that the length is somewhat dictated by the players and the discard piles, because the game ends when the draw pile is emptied. Well, if people keep seeing things in the discard pile, they can keep taking those, the game will last longer. You get this nice big tableau. Or it could be, the cards just aren't coming up this time, and you're just all drawn from the top of the deck, and the game ends quickly, and it's a much smaller tableau. So just that varying game length that can be kind of dictated, especially if you do want it to last a little bit longer. Maybe grab one from the discard pile to kind of prolong it there. That element of, being able to grab the one from the discard pile, that way it's not going to be lost forever, is a really cool implemented tool there as well. So the key parts that we liked about this one, we liked the card placement, not having to cover up any parts of the previous cards. That was something we always disliked about some of these card laying games in the past, is feeling like you always have to cover up something. So you're always feeling like you have to give up something for something. This one doesn't have that. The artwork is, as I said, really beautiful, very thematic, and just helps bring you and engage you into the game. The scoring variety throughout the game, how each one does have a A side and a B side, and then there's a couple of them that have a C and a D, so you can have that variety throughout the games and kind of mix and match however you want to create a new strategy each game. The solo mode played quick and easy. There is no bot, nothing, and it's not even necessarily beat your score. It's, there's 3 scenarios, so draw the cards, try and complete these scenarios, and go. So if those are key elements of the game that you yourself do enjoy, make sure you go ahead down below and check out the campaign. There's a link provided. Also down there, you can go ahead and please give us a like, a subscribe, a share, ring the bell. Let us know what is your favorite beach activity. Alrighty, so get out there and enjoy that sand.